It's episode 4 of this session, and Grant, this game is out of the frickin' muck.
That's what people say. That's what people say. We had Digital Dan check raising with like 0 high. We got Band Teacher and Mitzif going nuts on each other. We got Snuggy reshoving with Queen 5 offsuit.
I mean, it's been wild. Nuts. Yeah, this game started off a little careful, and these guys really are.
Oh, look at this. This will keep the muck nice and in the game. Is that a thing?
Yeah, no, we want the game not to be in the muck, actually.
Oh, we'll keep the muck away.
Yeah, that's
it's
more
like
like
a cleaning agent.
That's perfect, yes. Band Teacher with the Cowboys.
Oh, Cowboys. Is he going to get no action somehow? No, Snuggy's going with Queen 4 suited because it is suited.
And, you know, we are out of the muck.
And Mitzif is well out of the muck himself there.
Digital Dan actually has a real calling hand.
That could be a muck hand. And by that, I don't mean fold.
Yeah, I don't think anyone knows what you mean.
Who cares?
You've taken this concept of muck and really
Let
destroyed it.
them figure it out. If they don't figure it out, it's on them.
All right, let's see what the flop brings here.
Nobody flops a jack. Snuggy flops a 4.
Gut shot for Mitzif.
I imagine Band Teacher will do nothing but bet here.
Yep, and let's see if Snuggy decides to call once.
I think he will.
He's got 2 people behind him, but he does call.
I think Mitzif will call now.
Oh, is this the Chan?
Only 55. He's already getting almost 4 to 1. And he's on the button.
And he's got 5.2K in front of him. Snuggy and Band Teacher both have 1.7K. There's some pretty good implied odds there.
Yep, and he's definitely got to believe that sometimes he's just going to be able to win unimproved. He's going to be wrong.
Oh, Mitzif raised.
Oh.
I just realized that.
It never even occurred to me.
That's an interesting play. I like it, actually.
Yeah, it gets rid of Snuggy right away. Of course,
I think he'll get
Snuggy's
paid big time if the 3 of diamonds comes off. I think Band Teacher's not going to be folding.
Well, honestly, Mitzif can now represent a club also if that
right.
comes. Although, of course, Snuggy has.
This is not going to work out well for Mitzif.
Yeah, now there's no folding for Band Teacher. No matter what comes, I think
Mitzif is
going to
keep fire and say goodbye to that money.
Question is Band Teacher going to call or is he going to raise?
That's a big-ish bet there. Oh, I thought it was over 3. It's a normal bet. Yeah.
I think raising does make a lot of sense. Mitzif is representing a lot of strength. We're out of position as Band Teacher. I like a raise here.
I think Mitzif should go full turtle there. He's only got half turtle on that shirt situation on his chin. I think he needs to go full turtle.
Well, he's getting the bad news right now.
Yep. I think he's just going to have to muck it and be sad that it didn't work out. I wonder, I would have liked to see a non-king turn. I would like to see this play out a bit more organically.
What would happen is Band Teacher would have called the turn and called a lot of rivers, but there's a bunch of rivers which would have been tough. An ace river, a club river, and of course the 3 would have done it for Mitzif.
Yeah, losing your voice there a little bit, huh?
A little bit, you know. I got a little weepy and a little sad thinking about
Mitzif's money.
Mitzif missing out on the opportunity to see that river and maybe win the pot.
You know, we were talking about how Band Teacher was the inspiration for Mr. Holland's Opus a couple episodes ago.
Of course.
Somebody tweeted at us that Denzel Washington was not in Mr. Holland's Opus.
Also that Laura Dern wasn't in Mr. Holland's Opus.
And we were talking about... I beg to differ.
Really weird.
They were the stars.
Well, no.
You might think Mr. Holland's Opus was the star.
Now Grant's messing around.
Denzel was the star.
No, he was absolutely not. Neither of them were the stars. In fact, they had very small... They weren't cameos, but small roles. But they are absolutely in the movie.
They stole the show.
Okay. Laura Dern steals every show she's in.
All right. We got action here.
Okay, all right. We'll come back to Mr. Holland's Opus.
Worm raised blind under the gun. Batiste is not really a 3-bet. He kind of opened with Jack 10. Snuggy calls because Snuggy's now calling everything, I guess.
Snuggy's here to play.
He's trying to get his money back is what he's doing.
It might work. He's in position.
He has a very bad hand for it to work against Batiste's hand.
That's true, but, you know, if they both miss, he might win sometimes.
He might, although Snuggy's not. Well, that's how you do it. That's the way to do it.
Just got to dodge the jack on the turn. You're going to win a lot here.
Or the Queen of Hearts, something like that.
Sure. I think it's time to raise it right now, and Snuggy seems to agree.
I don't think Batiste will be folding.
Nope, can't fold yet. Batiste is like guaranteed to bang a jack on the turn, though, right? Isn't this the way this guy runs? It seems
I'll bet with you. I'll take no jack, even money.
I would like to do it, I can't do it. But I feel like it's coming, you know?
Oh, it's so close.
All right, so it gets interesting now.
He could consider folding at this point when Snuggy bets again here.
He could, but Snuggy is... Could Snuggy not have one of the many draws?
I don't know. I haven't seen Snuggy really bluff.
Yeah. Except that when he shoved into the whole world with Queen High.
Post flop.
Okay. Well, that is a relatively safe card from Batiste's point of view.
It's not super safe for Snuggy because Batiste does have overpairs in
Yeah.
his range that are now beating 10-9.
And he does check it back. That's not crazy at all when Batiste calls a raise and calls on the turn to check there. I think that's probably the right play.
I don't think he was going to get any more value unless he bet very small. I think Batiste was going to fold for a normal size bet on the river.
I don't know. All the draws missed.
They
Batiste
did.
calls the turn.
But again, I just don't see Snuggy bluffing that much post flop.
Well, we haven't yet. Anyway, I don't know if we're. I don't know. After seeing what he's capable of, I gotta believe he's got some post flop moves in him too.
That may be the case.
Also, as Batiste, if you've only seen him make that one big play, which everyone did get to see, that did go to showdown, it's gonna be much harder to fold top pair.
These are all fair points.
Taylor's gonna raise it up here.
He's got near the bottom of his under the gun range, I believe. Oh, it's not gonna work out. Is Snuggy gonna flat or 3-bet here?
I think he should be 3-betting. Let's see if he decides. He's thinking about it.
Just calls.
Oh, interesting.
Mitzif, this is the type of hand he's been playing, so I think Mitzif might call here also. He might even raise. I'll just call him.
Digital Dan's going to have to play this hand too, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Does he not realize it's suited? What happened?
Maybe he thought it was two completely different cards because, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense to
Jack-8
me.
of clubs is a beautiful hand in that spot with the depth of stacks. Anyway, Mitzif with not as beautiful of a hand. Snuggy with the really good hand here.
And
that's going to be a good flop for Snuggy unless another 4 comes.
a 4 or an ace is the only problem for Snuggy. He's going to bet it right away after Taylor checks it. That makes sense.
I like it. Taylor has a lot of pairs in his range.
Yeah. No,
Maybe,
I think
not when Taylor checks. Maybe he doesn't have that many pairs when he checks. But
it's okay to bet
might.
there, though, certainly with your queens. And your reputation as Snuggy, which may be looser than some of the like Digital Dan's reputation.
I don't know. Digital Dan, that guy is looser than sliced bread.
Wow. I was thinking it, but I can't believe you actually said it.
He check raised with 4 high a couple episodes
Anyway,
ago.
Can we get back to this Mr. Holland's Opus thing for a second? So
I've been waiting to.
Laura Dern and Denzel Washington both were in the band. They were much younger. They were both in the band. I think Laura Dern was the trombone. It's been a while. Denzel definitely played the oboe. I know that.
I mean, look
He
at
was the oboe
Denzel.
player.
That's an oboe guy through and through.
Yeah, I mean, he actually really did play it too. That wasn't like
He
recorded
learned it
music.
for the movie, or did he already know?
No, they looked for someone who was actually good on the oboe and could act a little bit. And turns out they like hit the jackpot.
Speaking of Mr. Holland's Opus, he's calling on the button here with Jack 7 offsuit. That seems ambitious.
As we said, this game is way out of the muck.
Worm with King 10 suited, reasonable, and Taylor's definitely bumping it up here, right?
Yes. There's no way Taylor wants to play this pot 4-handed with a big pair.
Looks like 105, 110. I think Mitzif's going to
calls
call.
quickly. Worm's going to have to call too, I think, with King 10 suited.
Mitzif has this monster stack, mostly thanks to Snuggy's bluff pre-flop that you've mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's a snapping turtle, but snap. Something like that. Called the snapping turtle. Oh, is it?
And Mitzif has way the worst of it here.
I believe it. I'm not that.
Yep.
That's an interesting flop. Worm flops a flush draw, and Taylor flops top boat. How do you play top boat here? Taylor's going to check it.
He is hurting. He's hitting the board
Ooh,
pretty bad.
This
wow.
is going to get expensive for Worm.
Worm is supposed to lose a fair amount of money here. Let's see how it goes though. Worm is going to bet it out, which I do like. I think you should be betting here. Got to build a pot with your second nut flush. Very strong. No reason not to believe you don't have the best hand here.
Does he fold to a raise here? Probably not,
I
right?
don't see how you can fold yet to a raise. Taylor could have the ace of hearts with a king in his hand or something like that.
Do you think Taylor would raise here very often with queens full, or do you think he's going to raise or call?
I expect he's going to call since he checked the flop. I expect he's going to let Worm continue.
So he's kind of
to
trying to rep 2 jacks here, something like that?
something like that. Make sure he gets another bet out of Worm, which he's certainly going to get unless this board pairs.
Unless the board pairs, maybe another heart coming would slow Worm down.
Yeah, he would check call. But I think you're going to get a bet out of Worm almost no matter what. Well,
All
this
right.
card certainly.
Got a nice clean card.
Worm has to bet.
Worm has to bet. Taylor has to raise. The question is Worm good enough to get away from it? Because it's a spot where once Taylor takes this line when he raises here, it's never good. The king high flush is never good.
I mean, if Taylor isn't completely bluffing, and it's hard to believe he would be, you could almost, like, your first and best guess would be he's got 2 queens in his hand. He could have 2 10s also, or 2 8s. All 3 of those are. He might play all 3 of those hands this line.
The only bluffing hand I can think of for Taylor would be ace 8 with the ace of hearts, and there's really no reason to bluff.
He
with
would
that
call
hand.
with that. He would never raise it. It's just too good to.
If he puts Worm on a flush, though, it's a really interesting thing to do.
Taylor could decide. Taylor could have the nut flush blocker,
Yeah.
and be making a play on the river here. But the question is, would he actually do
on
it?
the paired board where Worm
Right.
can have the full houses, I don't
Right.
think he would. I
I
think
agree.
that's why he needs the 8 also.
I agree. And then the hand's going to be too good to do anything with except call.
But
Because
the really
you can beat
interesting-
some value.
The really interesting decision is going to be Worms.
Yep. I think Worm's going to be able to put the pieces together here. Let's see how Taylor moves
Taylor
in.
moves
I
in.
was gonna say, let's see how he sizes it. See, that is interesting.
I like the sizing a lot
Me
because
too.
I think if he had the nut flush blocker, that's how he would size it.
He looks like he's desperate to get a fold, right? He's trying to use the maximum leverage he can to get a fold, is what he's repping. Like, if he makes a small raise, it make it very callable. I guess Worm probably would feel like he has to call. But now Taylor's as polarized as he can be.
And Taylor realizes it's going to be very hard to get paid here,
Yeah.
even by a flush. He's just praying that Worm somehow is 8-10 and he can't fold, something
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, maybe he also thinks maybe Worm's just going to have to call me with the nut flush or any flush. Maybe Worm will feel like he has to. Now
I
Worm's in
think-
the tank.
I think this might be more of a call with the second nut flush than the nut flush, actually, if you're going to have
Yeah.
a call here,
Yeah.
because you know Taylor doesn't have the nut flush blocker when you have the nut flush.
It is a fair point. It's just hard for you to have that many better hands than the nut flush if you're Worm. You can have pocket deuces, you can have 8-10 suited, and have decided to call, by the way, a big 3-bet out of position. I don't even know if you can do it with 8-10 suited. Maybe you can't have 8-10 if you're Worm.
I think Worm is just slowly letting himself get the bad news here, and
Yeah.
he's eventually going to find a fold.
Worm, I guess, could have pocket 10s himself. He could have pocket deuces.
He's going to call with those hands, I imagine.
Yeah, he's gonna-
Although pocket deuces plays similarly against Taylor's range. Although
Yeah.
sometimes
It's-
maybe Taylor has the nut flush here.
Maybe. I don't know beyond that, really, what... Wouldn't Taylor often bet the nut flush on the flop, the nut flush draw, excuse me?
You
on
would
the
think
flop?
so.
Often he would. Not always, though.
Oh, really?
Also, would he go for this much value with the nut flush? Because what's supposed to call you then? Now you need
Looks
a worse
like,
flush to decide to
looks
call.
like Taylor's not
Yeah.
going to get the action.
Good
and
job by Worm
That's
there.
that's well played by Worm. I
It
like-
is. This is the problem with slow playing. Even when you crush the board, it makes it easier for a good player to be able to put all the pieces together because he can think, okay, this guy checked the flop and is now moving in on the river. Unless he's lost his mind, he always has me. He just has 2 queens like all day long here, right?
Yeah, he really does.
Unless he has 2 10s.
Yeah.
Or, which maybe he can have 2 10s. But then he would have 3-bet 2 10s, check the flop, call the turn. It's possible. 2 queens makes more sense.
It doesn't matter. They both win against Worm.
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying, like, it just seems so clear when Taylor pulls the trigger there on the river if Worm's able to think back to the flop play.
Yeah, it's just by the river. It's just hard for Taylor to get paid. It's
Yep.
just there's not really a way to do it.
Yeah, so Taylor in this case would have definitely he probably would have gotten more money had he bet the flop. That's not usually the case, probably.
No,
but
not usually.
This time it would have worked out better for him for sure.
Still a decent sized pot for Taylor.
Yep, he got 300 out of Worm even on the river.
And Mitsif continues to try to win the VPIP race.
So far, so good. Although Band Teacher
Is not letting him just take it.
Band Teacher with the 3-bet. This is crazy. Profit's the only guy. Oh, I was gonna say the
Is
only guy
Worm
with
going
a
to
real hand.
4-bet or flat here?
4-bet.
Because it's Band Teacher?
Also because he has Ace King.
Well,
And
yeah, but
there's
there are times to flat Ace King.
of course. But do you really want to do it? You want to let all these people in? Yeah, there's the
Nah,
4-bet.
it looks like 300. 400. That's a big 4-bet.
That is a humongous 4-bet.
I think Profit will probably fold with his 2 9s.
I think it's very reasonable to fold. Very reasonable. This is the first 4-bet we've seen from. Well, not the first one we've seen. I guess we saw Snuggie 4-bet with the Queen High.
Well,
but-
Profit's beating that, so with that evidence.
Yes, but this is the first 4-bet Worm has done. In fact, I think it's the only other 4-bet. Maybe Taylor's 4-bet at this point. Besides that, we haven't seen very many 4-bets. Is my point.
Yeah.
Nines is doing very poorly against Worm's 4-betting range. And with this price, you only have $20 in there. I think it is a fold.
Yeah, that's a good fold. And Band Teacher, of course, was just messing around.
Yep.
He was busy thinking about, like, should I move Denzel to first chair on the elbow? I've had him stuck at second chair for 19 years. He's been really putting the time in, but, Jeremy in the first chair has really been killing it the whole time.
Surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. Now, do you think when Band Teacher is being Band Teacher, is he more like Mr. Holland or is he more like the guy from Whiplash?
J.K. Simmons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't his name, but yeah.
I think he's more like a combination. He's a hybrid.
Yeah.
He's Prius of Band Teachers.
6-7. 6-7 is pretty high. But my
Mitsif's
range
just waiting to find out which hand he will be playing this hand.
As long as they're
Oh, he
connected.
folded. What happened?
Sad. Sad Mitzvah. How can? Oh, he's lucky that Band Teacher folded too. VPIP. Race remains
You
close.
can exploit me all night if you want.
And we've got a Battle of the Titans here with the 4 deuce against the Jack 5. Oh,
Snuggy's
Snuggy's
just
going
gonna-
to just try to take it down.
I think
and
it's gonna work.
Oh, Batista says no.
4 deuce off, out of position. What the heck? Let's
well,
go.
he thinks Snuggy's ready to spew, I guess. He's like, I hit anything,
Well,
I hold on. That's
He
the
is
plan.
kind of right.
He did hit something.
No action policy.
He's definitely not going to fold to this $50 bet on the turn. As you see, he calls quickly. It should shut Snuggy down unless he improves. He does not
What
improve.
$50 bet on the turn? How did you know there was going to
Well, I
be a $50?
meant the flop, obviously.
bet on the turn.
It does go check, check.
Oh, well,
Batiste makes the best hand, and
he's going to probably... Oh, he checks. I like the check, but it didn't work out. Snuggy just gave up after 1 street.
yeah, Snuggy knew to give up.
I like seeing Snuggy raise out of the big blind there. I feel like we see too much in poker these days. People just letting the blinds check through all the time. Just letting people see free flops from the blinds.
Agreed.
Call when you're behind. Check when you're ahead.
Well, that wasn't free for Snuggy.
Oh,
Whoops. I laid it down like a track.
like a track.
Yeah, like Jay-Z.
DJ Levy over here.
Yeah. You're welcome, everybody. I'm creating my own opus.
Nice. I didn't know what an opus was, and I still don't know what an opus is. That's
Really?
the long and short of that.
I don't understand. I think of you as intelligent, but you don't know what an opus is.
Knowledge and intelligence are different things. I don't think you're aware of that, and I think
would-
for some reason that makes it. So you're kind of dumb.
I would think the context clues alone would be more than
Well,
enough
look
for you
at
to know
this.
what an opus
Look
is.
at this, by the way. Worm and Batiste getting a little jiggy here. You'd expect it from Band Teacher. Mitzvah's gonna call, obviously. We have a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
This could be bad news for one of us.
You really don't know what an opus is, even now?
It's a four-letter word.
Does the movie Mr. Holland's Opus
Look
not
at this
what
flop.
a flop.
Let's shut
All
up
right,
for a
fine.
second.
Let's talk about this. Band Teacher with the whole world showing profit. He's like, look at this thing. Worm, by the way, also with the flush draw. He's not going anywhere.
No, Worm is not going to be folding.
Batiste should find a fold here when it gets to him, although maybe Worm's going to make it easy and raise it up.
You just flatted jump. Yeah.
Looks like
Yeah,
he
that is a
gonna
raise. Yeah, Batista, I think, might have decided to call otherwise.
I think he was probably going to.
He
but
looks ready to play. He wants to play
Look
still.
at this. He's still not folding. He's contemplating a cold 3-bet here.
That would be amazing. I would love to see that.
It might work, honestly, but I can't imagine.
I
he's
think
really
Band
gonna do
Teacher's
it.
just not folding.
Band Teacher might just move in
Yeah.
if Batiste cold 3-bets. He's like, whatever. I can't. I either have the best hand or the best draw. It's one or the other if I'm heads up with someone.
Well, Batiste decides against it. I think that was probably wise.
Yes. Band Teacher with the flat. He does have the showdown value, which is nice. He could have raised here himself, but he decides to call, which is reasonable.
Calling's fine. Folding would have been absurd. I'd like to see if Worm bets again. It's going to be interesting to find out.
Band Teacher with the check. I think you have to bet again as Worm.
To get Band Teacher off some of his queens.
And flush draws. Now, Band Teacher doesn't always have, a showdownable hand with this draw. But sometimes he's got to draw it, which he's just going to have to fold here if we size it right.
But it's
That's not a
210.
big
That's
enough
not,
sizing
that's not big
anyway.
enough to fold him out.
I don't know if you have a straight draw, you're going to fold. Even if
Yeah.
you have a small flush draw, you might fold for half pot here. Although you'd like to see Worm, if you're trying to fold out the draw specifically, you'd like to see Worm make it 3/4 of the pot, make it an easy fold. Anyway, Worm does if Worm has the heart to fire this river, it's going to be tough for Band Teacher. There's the check. Worm
Well,
absolutely can have.
The queen's kind of a bad card to fire, though, because Band Teacher has plenty of queens in his range.
So does Worm.
Really? He raised the flop.
Yeah.
I think he's just gonna not.
All right.
You want to take that back?
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, Worm isn't usually going to raise a one-pair hand on the flop.
He might raise top on the flop, but
Maybe.
he might not. He might not fire the turn with it though once he gets called.
You were
Honestly.
raising like nut flush draw or something. Not a queen. Why are you raising me with a queen? Why
There you go.
With a queen? Give a set.
Yeah.
Fives?
This goes back to what you're saying.
Yeah, Band Teacher's figuring it out here.
He knows Worm isn't going to raise him with just a queen, so how can he bet the river?
Busted. Nut flush draw.
He's like, it's pocket fives, or I gotcha.
Oh, I'm the babiest of bluff catchers.
It's impressive, Band Teacher working this out in real time.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
See a lot of players really struggle with this kind of stuff where they give too wide a range to their opponent when they bet the river because not thinking about like what's really possible based on the line.
Right. And if Worm was still playing aces or something, he wouldn't have bet this river, you would think.
No chance. No chance would he bet this river. Yeah, Worm is
Fives are zero or zilch.
Worm's a little unlucky that band teacher blocks pocket fours.
It doesn't matter. He was going to call anyway with anything showdownable. The line was not amazing by Worm there. That's a nice play by band teacher, by the way.
Yep.
Really nicely figured out on the river there.
Oh, I did show him the hand.
Yeah, you got to show it if you want to win.
Did Worm turn his hand over?
I thought he did.
Oh, I thought he
maybe
just mucked
didn't.
it. I think he just
Oh,
mucked
maybe
it.
he did. Okay.
Band teacher wants to show everyone that he called with
Gosh,
bottom
we don't
pair.
educate people. Lessons are on freaking Wednesday, bruh. Lessons are
Sounds
on
like lessons were tonight, though, to me. That's what it sounds like. Because band teacher just told everybody his thought process
Yeah,
and then
he
called.
Sure did, which is fair.
I had a parent flush draw in my life. I was like,
That was a good call by band teacher for sure. And yeah, maybe an ill-advised river bet by Worm. Although you can often get those things through, even if they don't, even if they aren't as good a story.
True, but
It just didn't work this time because
When-
band teacher's good enough to be able to put that together. Fair enough.
when you have a competent opponent, sometimes you have to give up on a bluff if the cards don't cooperate.
Yeah,
And
it
that was one of those
sucks.
cases.
Yeah.
Batiste getting a little jiggy here. Batiste wants to play.
it's like
Yeah.
meanie, meanie,
And it
miny,
looks like
get
Snuggy
me
is
out
going
here
to
by
cold
the
with the Jack 7 of spades because $60 is too much to have. He doesn't want to have that anymore.
Hey, both cards are live.
Well, the spades aren't.
But the
'cause
cards are.
Taylor's coming in.
Yeah, Taylor's obviously
He
not
might
gonna
4-bet
fold.
here, actually. This is a good spot for
It's
a
a
4-bet.
perfect 4-betting hand, actually.
When he takes the chip back like that, that's usually a 4-bet, right?
Yep. I mean, as a bluff, of course, a perfect 4-betting hand. You have a blocker, you have a hand that can flop on, and indeed he is going to 4-bet.
And it's the perfect scenario where Batiste seems primed to 3-bet, and Snuggy is the guy who's going to flat a lot with a lot of hands.
Yep. So the situation works, the hand works.
This is a nicely thought-out play by Taylor.
Yep. Batiste, can he possibly think about 5-betting here?
He's obviously considering it. He's not one to Hollywood for no
He
reason.
can't be considering a call.
No, I don't think he's doing that.
I mean, he did consider and ultimately decide to wear that jean jacket. So his decision making is at least a little bit questionable, but there we go.
Fashion is subjective, Jonathan. I find it. What? Hold on a second.
That's a call from Snuggy. Snuggy likes being in position.
Snuggy likes not having $250.
Well, let's see. Well, okay.
Well, he flopped middle pair. I imagine Taylor's going to check, yeah.
Yeah, with no kicker.
There's not much value in betting there.
Now it's like,
Well, against Snuggy, it turns out he could have probably gotten a bet in. As long as he gets a bet in somewhere.
We might check all the way down here.
I think Taylor absolutely should bet a brick river. That is not a brick.
No, Snuggy could have a king in his hand.
Although Taylor now chops against all aces except that aren't ace king.
Right, but Snuggy could easily have a hand like king 10 or king
Of
queen
course.
there.
Of course.
That was an interesting pre-flop dynamic that played out there.
Yep.
I am genuinely surprised Snuggy called the 4-bet.
I could tell.
Were you not?
Well, Snuggy's been calling a lot of bets lately.
I was surprised he called the 3-bet in the first place.
Well, Snuggy 3-bet. Oh, no, he did not 3-bet. He
No.
called the 3-bet. You're right. Because Batiste 3-bet. This game is way out of the muck. The
Yeah.
muck is like in my rearview mirror. I can't see it anymore.
Snuggy doesn't even know how to pronounce the muck.
Yeah, he says, well, I can't say what he says.
No, it's racist.
Not that Snuggy
No,
is racist.
no, of
Let's
course
be
not.
clear.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
That's just a joke that ran off the rails a little
Yeah.
bit, people. It would have been funny, but
Yeah, I understand.
I like where you were going with it. Don't get me wrong. But
Looks like band teacher has a relatively real hand here with ace jack off, and Taylor makes the perfect
Yeah.
fold with king jack off. He knows against under the gun ranges that's not usually a good hand.
even band teacher, though, who can have a
Look
very
at this.
wide
Snuggy
range.
just can't stop calling.
Yeah, Snuggy's playing.
It looks like Mitzvah's in the same boat, although his is suited.
And yeah. That's all I was going to There's nothing. I was going to say he's on the button, which he is, and it makes it a little
I
bit
prefer
better.
Mitzvah's hand to Snuggy's hand for sure.
Of course. Obviously.
Profit with the suited 10-5, kind of forced into a call at that point.
Yeah, I think so.
Band
It's only
teacher
$15.
does not like having ace jack in the worst position at the table here.
That is correct. I expect band teacher's not going to take a shot at this.
Digital Dan has flopped a 3. Is that the best hand?
Seems impossible, but it is. It is the best hand. And look at this.
Band teacher's
teacher
taking
is
a shot into the
taking a
whole
shot.
world.
This may get through. I
I
expect
mean-
Digital Dan will call once, probably.
Mitzvah has 2 back doors. He might decide to make some sort of
On
play.
the button.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, he is, in fact, calling, and this is going to fold out Digital Dan. By the
Wow.
way, this is a miracle already. Band teacher has bet. Already the best hand is folded.
Well, if he doesn't improve, he's going to lose, I think, because Mitzvah's going to put some pressure on him.
That's a very good card for Mitzev. And it works. The story can work if Mitzev decides to rep this.
Band teacher's betting again.
Wow, what is band teacher repping? Pocket eights here?
For band teacher
I
to
guess an
win this,
overpair?
for band teacher to win this hand, he's going to have to call Mitzvah down, and there's the raise.
Yeah.
And yet that means he has to put Mitzvah on 5-6 pretty much.
I don't think Mitziv absolutely can have trip threes. This is
Easily.
such a perfect card for Mitziv in that he can raise, tell a reasonable story, and it improved his equity as well. So if he gets called, look, he's 34%. Even if he gets called, incredible spot.
I really like how Mitziv's playing this.
Yeah,
It's
Band Teacher's
nice.
forced to fold.
Yeah, well played, Mitziv. The treasure hunter,
Indeed.
or so they say.
He is. He's a treasure hunter. He's read 2 books in his life, Grant, both about treasure hunting.
You telling me he never had to read like Huckleberry Finn in middle school?
He may have been assigned it, but he didn't get through it. I'll tell you that much. And you normally were joking and making things up. This is true.
Sure it is, buddy.
This is true. Also, Denzel Washington in that movie.
Equally true.
You really don't know what an opus is?
I assume it's musical.
No, it is not.
Is it dirty?
No.
I don't want to know about Mr.
Basically-
Holland's opus anymore.
I mean, the movie is about music, and he's a band teacher, of course. But no, opus is just like greatest achievement.
Cool.
Or, yeah. I don't understand you. You went to college, right?
I went to college.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Some,
All right.
some people have vocabulary gaps.
Yep. Apparently so. All right, so here we are.
Anybody got anything?
Mitziv has 2 4s.
Yeah, and he's got the best hand. He's going to bet it, and I think it's just going to get through.
I would think it would have to get through.
Band teacher has a deuce, so
Band teacher is not going to let it get through. With the 9 deuce off, 2 guys behind him, he calls. He is behind him.
Mitzif and Band teacher have it out for each other.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
seen that play out in previous episodes as well.
I wonder if Band teacher would have called if Mitziv hadn't won the last pot.
Yes.
Mitziv checks it back. If it's not a diamond, see, I
Oh,
think
well,
Mitziv's-
now he wins.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I was going to say, Mitziv's going to win this pot because he's going to call. But Band Teacher's betting for value. This is great. He knows that Band Teacher he knows that Mitziv pretty much never has a jack.
He knows that Mitzif loves to hero him.
Yep. Doesn't believe him, kind of ever. Mitziv is in this interesting spot of trying to decide.
I wonder what the
All
inside
3
of,
options
I
are
wonder what the
reasonable.
inside of Mitzif's shirt smells like. He's sure trying to figure it out.
All 3 options, though, are available to Mitziv here. A call is reasonable, a fold is certainly reasonable, a raise is reasonable.
He just calls, and he's going to get the bad news that he got rivered.
Yep. It's not a terrible idea to call. You can beat the flush draws that missed, but you cannot beat the 2 pair.
The old 9 deuce. How could you not put him on 9 deuce, Mitzif?
Do you see how happy Band Teacher was?
Yeah,
that was Band Teacher's opus right there.
That was his opus.
Yep. It's greatest achievement.
I know what it means now. I learned.
Yeah. I don't know if that's exactly the definition, but it's pretty darn close.
It would make me so happy if that was just completely wrong.
It's definitely not completely wrong.
Especially now that you're so sure of yourself.
I am sure of myself.
And how often is that 100%? Like, I think you're probably 80% on when you're 100%, if that makes any sense.
I think you're ridiculous. You're a ridiculous human, and Laura Dern was wonderful in that movie. All right.
All right, Batiste with a real hand. Finally to play. 2 5s here.
Snuggie, no chance Snuggie folds this one. We know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's an actual legitimate call at this point. And Mitzif with the same hand.
Is he going for a raise?
Yep.
Yep.
Mitzif does not take his foot off the gas pretty much ever.
I did have the deuce. Hit my kicker.
And Batista's in an amazing spot here because his opponents have each other's outs.
Yeah, but if he doesn't flop a 5, it may not matter.
It may not. Mitzif, you think Mitzif has the greatest chance to win this hand of all the players?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yes, I do. Although Batiste has all the equity, Mitzif has the betting lead.
Yep.
Well, now Batista's going to call on this flop.
Oh, yeah. He's going to call once. But
Oh, and Mitzif just checks it
good
back.
check. He understands. Now, Mitziv and Snuggie pick up some nice equity here.
Right, and
No, Mitziv does not take a shot. Interesting.
that is interesting.
Now, Mitziv can win this pot if he wants to.
Double gutter.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I got to believe this is going to work. There's no way Batiste can call.
$80 and Batiste quickly folds. It looks like Mitzif has ace queen or ace king the whole
Yeah.
way.
I had dark raised. Yeah, I dark raised.
It's nice that he knew that he had to rep the ace there.
Yep.
That was a good decision.
He did it very comfortably, very believably. And I don't know, Batiste really, there's nothing he can do there. He's going to just have to fold.
We have seen Batiste hero before on Poker Time plenty of times. I'm thinking particularly of another pocket fives hand where he heroed Action Aaron when Aaron had top and raised, bet, and shoved, and Batiste heroed him all the way down.
Right. Aaron told a really different story, though, a very
Yes, he
polarizing
did.
story.
He did.
And that's not at all what Mitziv told. Mitziv just said, I have a good ace that, I'm not playing. Okay, now I have the best hand, so now I feel comfortable betting. That was it. That was his story.
Digital Dan, we haven't seen him play a hand yet this episode. I guess he had the 5-3 that he played.
He decided not to play that Jack 8, which was surprising.
Profit and Band Teacher going to get into a little bit here. Profit with a pretty good hand.
Worm calling with the 6-4 off.
Taylor with a nice looking hand there. Very pretty hand.
Yep.
Profit with a lot of equity for ace jack 4 ways. And Taylor flops pretty well. He's got the straight draw on the backdoor flush draw.
Worm with the gut shot.
So you ask for it and then you check it.
And it checks through.
Cool story.
Now that's how you play ace jack multi-ways usually.
So this is interesting. Band teacher picks up the open-ender. Profit now has overs and the gutter. Taylor has top pair and an open-ender.
This isn't going to get through Taylor. Taylor will certainly be calling this bet.
Of course.
I wonder if Profit will overcall once Taylor's called.
It's only 55.
It's a close spot. I could see either decision. I could see a raise as well.
Yep. I think a call is reasonable here. You are at a position which sort of sucks. It's hard to get paid if a jack or a 9 comes.
Yep, or an ace, really.
Yeah, so actually I think the fold's probably good because the implied odds probably aren't there.
Right. And band teacher needs a king. He's not going to get it.
Let's see.
Check by Taylor.
Checks it right
and
back.
Band teacher knows not to mess with Taylor, I guess.
Yeah.
The 10 is all over Taylor's range, so band teacher knowing on that river card, Taylor won't be folding top pair.
Also, if Taylor has a 9, somehow a different 9 like queen 9, band teacher can beat that anyway. He can beat the draws, except for ace 9.
Right.
That's it. So now Taylor's most likely 9 is an ace 9. I guess that is not a pair, but still.
Queen 9 suited, definitely in his range.
Yeah, you can have that. So that's cool. That's it, really.
Yeah, 6-9 is also a straight.
Yeah. Obviously, so is jack 9. So
So-
just really the queen 9.
Yeah.
You chop with king 9.
That's nice. I love chopping.
There's that.
Take everybody else's money.
But yeah, band teacher definitely wasn't going to get that one through. So good check.
Snuggie with, is he going to limp or raise? He's going to raise it up.
Yeah. Mitzvah continues to play.
Well, that's a reasonable hand.
Yep.
Although he is +1. It's usually a fold in that spot. But
Yeah.
in this game, it's not.
It absolutely is not in this game. And look, everyone has clubs.
And
Is it
well, Profit
possible?
has spades.
Okay, fine. When I say everyone, I mean a bunch of people.
You want to bet black or red? I take red.
Sure, I'll take black. $150. Let's go.
You got it. I love my side of this. Let it be.
There aren't very many clubs left. There's only 6 clubs left, but I'll take 3 of them.
Oh my God! How is it black?
$150. Let's go. Feels good. I already had forgotten about the bet. Band teacher flops best.
Yep. And there's a king. Nobody has a king.
No, actually, Snuggie still has the best hand.
That's right. 2 6s, but he's not comfortable with 2 6s, obviously.
Worm can make a straight here, but he will not.
And
Mitzvah.
Mitzvah River's the best hand. I don't think he can get any value out of it, though.
I don't see how he could. He wisely checks. That's the way to get value, is to check and give someone a shot.
He's just going to get to pick
To
up
bluff.
a decent pot without having to do anything.
Always nice, since you would have folded on the flop or the turn, and then you get to win that 110 in the middle instead of not win it. That's a good
It's
deal.
kind of shocking how bad the hands ended up being there for so many players.
Yeah. Well, there were no flush draws. I'll tell you that much. Even though it was black, Grant.
We don't need
The
to
flop
talk.
was black.
What are you talking about?
150.
150 what?
Let's go. Free money. I love it. You're such a sucker.
Is this your
It
opus?
was so obviously going to be black, by the way. Is this my opus? Well used. Good job.
See, once I know,
Looks like
I'm an elite user of vocabulary. Okay, so Mitzvah is going to blind raise.
because playing just every hand isn't enough action for that guy.
No.
He's got to play it without knowing what he has. Fair enough.
Somebody's going to raise, right? Taylor or Batiste is going to raise. Oh,
Worm
Worm's
is
going to
gonna
raise.
Pop it up with the queen 8. Interesting.
Well, he must. Oh, Batiste is definitely going to call here.
Yeah.
Maybe even raise.
I believe a call is in order for Batiste.
If Batiste had a few more chips, he might think a raise was better. Just a little bit more room to maneuver. And of course, we know Mitzvah is not folding the majority of his range there once the action happens as it does.
Yep. Batiste with a pretty nice little hand.
He is, his queen is blocked though, unfortunately. And Mitzvah flops best. Flops middle pair.
Worm can find a way to win this for sure with that ace out there. if
It's
he
going to
decides
take multiple bets though.
Yeah, it's going to take at least 2. So Batiste will fold.
A little disappointed in his pretty hand, not working out too well.
We fully expect Mitzvah to call once. But the question is, if Worm fires again, will Mitzvah stick around? This is a perfect card. It's a brick. Let's see if Worm keeps going or not.
The question is, would Worm keep betting a hand like ace-10?
I think you could.
You could. I think Mitzvah's just going to win this pot now. Oh, he's going to bet himself. I don't know about
He's
that.
trying to get called by a 6.
Or pocket 7s or pocket 8s, I guess.
I mean,
I think
what
this-
are you supposed to have?
This might be a bit of a misstep by Mitzvah here.
I mean, pocket 7s and pocket 8s don't know. It seems hard to imagine you're going to find
I think he's got
find a call
to
from those
he's
hands.
got to give Worm a chance to do the betting for him there because it's really hard to get value from a worse hand when you bet.
Maybe it's a blocker bet because the straight came in? I don't know. Mitzev has a 7 in his hand, so he sort of blocks it.
I don't. It's a bit big for a blocker bet too.
Also, why do that if the
Yeah.
straight came in? And he's either got bluffs or the straight a lot since he checked the turn, right?
Yeah, I've liked the majority of Mitzvah's plays we've seen
Yeah.
so far, but that one I felt was a little bit off.
Friggin' big, yeah. It's got
Digital Dan not getting into the blind raising trend.
That's not the digital way.
No.
He did the calculations digitally.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of trends, you know why they call him Digital Dan?
I'm gonna love to hear it.
Oh, yeah. He is actually, this is crazy, the inventor of Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was that other guy.
Nope. It's Digital Dan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the interesting thing
Look
is
at it. Hold on a sec. We
Okay.
got a 3-bet from Snuggie here.
with the ace jack,
Band teacher's probably gonna call because they're deep enough. He can try to flop a set here. I wonder what Batiste will do because Batiste made a relatively loose call on the button here, and he's gonna be getting a pretty good price.
yeah. Coming back to Digital Dan. Digital Dan also did have the idea of a sort of bird-themed app, but he wanted to call it Tweety Bird, so he wanted to call it Tweeter.
Hold on a sec. It says Batiste is all in. That's not true.
There's no way that's right.
He
He's-
just called.
For sure he just called.
Yeah. There we go.
Ruining my whole Digital Dan
Whoa.
thing.
Well,
Okay, Batiste
Maybe we're here to talk about
flops
poker.
it, flops it, and everyone else is drawing essentially dead. Band teacher could make a running full house, but
Snuggie has the jack of hearts. He might call one bet.
I would expect him to. With overs in the jack of hearts and Snuggie, I'd be shocked if he folds.
Yeah, here he comes. Band teacher's gonna fold though.
Yeah. Batista's loving this. Little does he know, an ace would be a really good friend of his right now, especially the ace of non-hearts.
A heart would probably be a decent friend of his. Like
He's not
Snuggie-
going to bet a heart on
Yeah,
the turn.
that's true.
What is band teacher doing? He's thinking about it. Finally lets it go.
Camera time.
He's more like J.K. Simmons.
All
So,
right. We got Batiste approaching a 1-to-1 stack to pot ratio here.
yeah, with the 615, he's definitely going to bet again.
Is
Try
Snuggie
and
going
set
to
up a
bet
shove.
for him? It looks like Snuggie's going to bet for him.
What a deal.
Well, Batiste is now going to move in, right?
Well, he bet 325.
Yeah, Batiste is just
For
moving
sure.
in.
For sure he's going to move it.
There's band teacher again. Accidental camera time.
This is like just a must to move in here at this point. You just move in and assume you're going to be called a lot.
Batiste has been frustrated this whole episode, and finally something good happened.
So when I'm assuming Batista's going to move in. Maybe I'm wrong. But if that happens, what are you supposed to do with Snuggie?
I think.
Oh, he just calls.
He just calls.
Ah,
Interesting.
nice. I like it. He's trying to give Snuggie as much rope as possible here.
And does Snuggie want to bluff, or does he just give up? Because if he gives up, he's not going to call. Although he's going to be getting such a price still. He can't beat anything.
He can't beat anything after Batiste calls 325 on the turn.
I don't know if bluffing's a great idea considering the stack to pot ratio.
I think you should. I think he's supposed to give up. Honestly,
Batiste is going to call with any piece of this board at this point with the
Yeah.
price he's getting laid.
Snuggie decides to go for it. They say you can't fault a guy too much for moving at the pot. Batiste is now nit rolling.
Oh, here's
He's
the thing.
officially nit
Here's
rolling.
the thing. The stack is wrong.
Oh, he's got a lot more.
Yeah, he raised.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind, Batiste.
yeah,
You're
never
not nit
mind.
rolling
Never
at all.
mind at all because yeah,
He was
those
Hollywooding
those
to,
stacks of green are $500
Yeah,
each.
okay,
So
okay.
we were way off on that stack size
Okay,
thing.
that was the problem. Okay, so Batiste was just waiting to spring the trap on the river. He did, and that's why he was. That's perfectly fair.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because that would have been quite the nit roll.
Yes.
If he had $300 left and had.
And it also makes it
flush.
more okay for Snuggie to take a shot on the river there. Or Batiste
Absolutely.
has plenty behind.
Yeah. Actually, I think both players. It's much more reasonable. And how much did Snuggie bet on the river? Do we know?
I don't think we
It's
got
lost.
that.
It's lost to history. All right,
That was not our opus right there.
they can't all be.
All right, I imagine Prophet's going to have a real hand here. I think he looked. Wait, it says band teacher's under the gun. That's not true.
Nope, we're having
Everything's
some graphics
all
issues.
everything's all wonky now.
All right, well, we'll just follow the action anyway.
Looks like we got a raise from Prophet.
Yeah, profit opened. We know that.
He made it $20 here.
Profit's looking around like someone stole his peanut butter.
His peanut butter?
I mean, if someone stole your peanut butter, would you not look around to see what happened? He looks angry about it too. See, that's
How would you-
that's a peanut butter look.
How
right
would you
there.
know it was stolen and not lost? That's my question.
Oh yeah, that's what people say when they steal it. Okay, look, profit with ace queen suited.
well,
there we go.
we knew he had a legitimate hand. He chose to enter the pot. Worm is called with the same hand. Batiste with 2 10s. Is he going to call or 3-bet here?
It's close. I think with profits under the gun range, he's relatively tight as an opener. Wow, and Snuggie
Snuggie
not
is
relatively tight as a
Not,
caller.
not very tight with the calling range.
He
for
loves
Snuggie.
that button. He loves to be in position. He will play, as we see, pretty much anything.
Digital Dan's got to play this one, right?
I hope
For
so.
15 more, there he goes. Gets in there. All right, Batiste is in pretty good shape with his 10s here, considering that Profit and Worm have their ace-queens
He
shared.
does have to dodge a jack as well, though. But still, it's not so bad.
And there's a set for Batiste, a gut shot for both Worm and Profit. And it looks like Mitsif's going to be doing some betting here with 6 high.
Huh.
No, he decides
Good
to check.
job.
He just was
Good
messing
job.
around.
Too many people. Profit checks right away. Everyone checks to Batiste, who, of course, is going to fire.
Makes a lot of sense to bet here.
This many people? Got to bet.
Is
Now.
Profit going to peel with the gut shot? I think it's fine, too. Is Worm also going to peel with the gut
Well,
shot?
if you think it's fine for Profit to, then it's got to be better for Worm to, right?
Yes.
Worm's closing the action. He's getting a better price. I'm not sure if I love Profit's call there when he's going to... Wow, and Worm lets it go. I don't know, man. I don't know if Profit's really supposed to call there with Worm behind him. And bing,
Well, yeah, of course he's supposed to call. Look at that.
makes the nuts on the turn. There it
And
is.
Batiste checks
How
back.
does he do it?
What just
How
happened?
in the world can he check there?
We've seen Batiste do stuff like this before.
Okay, let's see if he raises the river or if he just calls.
This is a small bet, 105.
He
and he
answer-
just.
Oh, he's the greatest. He's the greatest at this.
How does he do that? We see him do it all the
This
time.
is the third time we've seen him do this with the set, where someone makes a straight on him, and he just calls on the river somehow in spots where I think it's impossible to just call.
I mean, it's a gut shot that got there, too.
It's unbelievable that
Well-
he's done this 3 times on this show.
Batiste has like a sixth sense about body language or something. He has some sort of physical tell that
Clearly.
he really picks up on a lot of people, or else none of this makes sense.
No, it absolutely has got to be the case, because he's not always right, clearly, but he is so right so often in these kinds of spots. It's spooky.
It is definitely spooky.
It's-
like Ted Forrest.
Yeah,
Spooky.
exactly. No, it's really, that's an extraordinary just call.
It's great. I love that play by Batiste. I could never do it.
No, I would have lost a lot.
I would have
lost-
bet the turn, and I would have probably called the check raise, and then had a really big decision on the river, and
Right.
probably ended up calling.
That's what I would have done
Yeah.
for sure. It would have been very, very sad time for me.
Meanwhile, this is the last hand of this episode of Poker Time, and we've got Worm with a big one, Queens for the second time this episode,
Here's Profit in the big blind with a pretty good hand.
and Snuggie's in there because he's got cards.
Yep.
And Worm
No
flops top
diamonds.
set.
No one has any diamonds though. Let's see if Worm.
I don't think Worm's getting any action. I think he should bet because
Yeah.
of the diamonds.
He's happy to get it in right now too. It's fine with top set.
I mean, he's not happy to get it in.
I'm saying he's completely willing to.
He might just call a raise.
Okay, but he might move into.
I don't
Depending
think so.
on the opponent.
I think he's almost always just calling a raise. But it doesn't matter. We're never going to find out. Ben Teacher even folds middle pair there.
Yeah.
That's kind of unlucky for Worm. Ben Teacher usually calls. And that's the last episode.
Yep.
Or last hand. Sorry.
Yeah.
There will be more episodes.
We'll see you next week.